I got a burning smell coming in my room right now, and I'm not sure if it's A, my neighbor's getting really happy with firewood, B, I'm having a stroke, or C, it happens to be my computer burning something on the inside of the tower, and I have the windows open, and I can't really tell. I don't think I'm having a stroke, and I really hope it's not my computer, so I'm gonna go outside in a little bit and check that out. But for now, what you're actually here for is these two battles. Yeah, I did say two. This is a doubleheader. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the title or anything like that, but I do want to provide complete coverage on the tournament, so I'm actually going to put two of the shorter games together into one, you know, regular to moderately longer length video. I've done this before on my old channel. It shouldn't be, you know, a new thing if y'all have been around the bend with me. So, immediately the thing I noticed about this mono water is I fought other mono waters in the past that have had like polytoad, and they've been like hard rain, like absolutely terrifying shit. This is not one of those encounters. In fact, I'm actually noticing everything outside of Manaphy or a Choice Scarfer is outsped by my naive Kieran Black, which I'm pretty sure is actually max speed. So the MVP, I'm going to go ahead and lead off with it, and everything outside of Manaphy, I'm not even going to be scared out by. And even Manaphy, I would probably stay in. I try to hit that sucker real quick in the face. So the strategy with Kieran Black is going to be to Fusion Bolt and win, but I actually have a little bit of foresight right here, and I noticed that there's two Shell Smashers in the back, and one of them potentially has a Focus Sash. I've played her multiple times in the past, and you know, I can't unlearn this knowledge, but I know she does have a tendency to run Sash on her Cloister. So what I do want to do here is I want to get the rocks up as soon as possible. I don't think I saw any spinners. I don't think there were any spinners, but it turns out I actually am faster than Lapras, so Tyrantrum actually gets rocks up and gets a kill. I don't honestly think that critical hit mattered, especially if it was like, I don't know, God forbid it was offensive. I don't think it was, honestly, but that's a head smash coming off of a Tyrantrum, so I think I'm pretty good. Right here, this is an interesting scenario because it would have been Smash versus Smash if she decided to stay in and Shell Smash. I was going to go for the head smash right there. But she ends up staying in and going for Icicle Spear instead. I think that is the smarter decision there because she actually gets a use out of her Cloister at that point. But because Cloister's base speed happens to be naturally lower than Kieran Black, I'm actually able to come in immediately and get the revenge kill. I'm not disappointed with Tyrantrum's performance at all. It got hazards up on an unspinnable game, which effectively broke the Cloister Sash. It forced it to not Shell Smash, which means that it was able to come in and dispose of it easier, and it took out a Pokemon. So Tyrantrum was actually just as important in this lineup as Kieran Black was. Even though Kieran Black is moving most of the muscle, Tyrantrum really set up the field for it. And I'm not sure how much Fusion Bolt would have done to Lapras, but I'm not sure if Lapras could have necessarily done anything back to me either. So whatever, I'm splitting hairs at this point. As you can see, Fusion Bolt is just mowing through. So we're down Cloister, we're down Kabutops, and then Kingdra comes in, and I'm realizing I don't have Dragon Stab on this thing, and that kind of sucks. So I go for my next best thing, which is my Ice Stab, which is also going to be neutral, but it's going to be a little bit stronger than a Fusion Bolt, just because I am part Ice as well. So I try to go for it. I don't end up getting that much, and I actually end up losing my Kieran Black right here, which, to be honest, is completely fine by me. There are still other things left, but there's only one Smasher left, and I think I should be able to handle it with the lineup that I have going on. But the one thing I do notice is I love bringing in this thing on weakened Dragon types, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and stay in Mega and go for the DD from here, because the best thing this thing can probably do is if it has Flash Cannon, it can go for it. And it turns out she ends up going for a Focus Energy. I don't necessarily agree with that play at all, especially because I cannot speed it after DD, and I can actually just make a forward push on the rest of the team from here, especially because Barbaracle, if it was the one with the Sash, would end up losing its, it would end up dying. I'm not sure why I'm beating around that bush there, but I get rid of it with a return, and then we have Manaphy that comes in. I think I'm actually able to knock this thing out with a return after Rocks too. I'm not sure if Rocks mattered in this calc, but I am +1 Altaria, and I think that is just like a fast offensive Manaphy. And we're good to go, so we're just making the push, and then Barbaracle comes in, takes some Rocks damage, and then I'm actually just able to take it out with a +1 Earthquake, which nets me the game against Mono Water. I believe this is the last turn? Yes, yes it is. So we're immediately jumping into game 2 after this, which I don't think was the next game, or could have been the next game after this. Honestly, I don't remember. This tournament was such a long time ago. But as you can see, my matchup is actually Mono-Psychic. And everything looks pretty kosher for me to fight. I'm not too worried about anything. Latios is an immediate threat, and I immediately notice as well, I don't have jack diddly shit for Mega Medicham. The best thing I have to outspeed it after a fake out is maybe Latias. So, you know, looking at that, I probably should have kept that, you know, more safe. But spoilers, I don't, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, same game plan as always. I'm just going to lead off with Kieran Black because that prevents, you know, anything, like, slower than it from actually just wanting to lead off right off the bat. And it turns out that if this thing was physically defensive, I hit it on the wrong side and just completely bop it. So that Xatu comes on the field and leaves just as fast. He realizes, damn, this thing is a threat. I'm going to bring in my Medicham, and I am going to do to you what you did to Mono Water. And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's going to happen. It's a Medicham. It's a Mega Medicham. But this is a Mega that I always sleep on. This thing is freaking good. So what's going to happen here, you know, for any Mega Medicham, any Mega that has a you know, fake out, it's going to use it. It's going to go for it because that gives it the safe... That gives it the safe Mega. And then if you're already in on a Ghost, it's not going to Mega on the Ghost unless it's Lopunny. So Lopunny just gets your guaranteed Mega unless you're against Inner Focus users. So that's the thing. But right here, I thought he was going to end up going for a Drain Punch or a High Jump Kick. I was not expecting the Ice Punch, which would have been weaker. It turns out I actually just switch in Latias on an Ice Punch, and I am immediately losing my shit because I don't have a lot that's a lot faster than this. So back when I was sweeping Mono Water, I'm getting ruined by this thing because on top of that, it gets a crit on Psycho Cut. I was fully prepared to just go for a Draco from there. And I'm not sure if I had priority, but either way, I'm on the losing end of this Medicham, and it's absolutely terrifying. I know Kyurem has the natural bulk to be able to take this, and seeing Ice Punch instead of a High Jump Kick on Tyrantrum kind of led me to believe that it didn't have Fighting Stab. I saw Fake Out, I saw Ice Punch, I saw Psycho Cut. If Drain Punch was there, I definitely would have seen it at that point, but it turns out it just goes for Psycho Cuts. I'm like, okay, it doesn't have Fighting Stab. There's no way it has Fighting Stab. Otherwise, it would have gone for it at that point. And it turns out that its last move actually happens to be Bullet Punch, which I don't really agree with right there. Ice Punch would have worked out, but you'll see in the next turn that it doesn't really matter because he was just sacking it anyway. I mean, it could have, depending on how this next turn played out, but I can see why he did it. He literally just did it just to show what the last move was, and honestly, that's cool. Because Latios comes in, and if it missed Draco, then that would have sucked. If he had me lower, he wouldn't have had to risk Draco if he had, like, Surf, if he had Psychic or something. But he goes for a Draco right there, and most of my dragons have died in 1 to 2 shots at this point. All I have left is Mega Altaria, and I think I've got maybe 1 or 2 others left in the back. But I have to go for game right here because he is he's lowered special attack, so I know I'm going to guaranteed get 1 free turn where Latios ain't doing jack shit unless it has Memento. And I don't think he's the type to run that. Turns out he actually forgot that Altaria turns into Dragon Fairy when it Megas, so I'm actually going to go ahead and get a free DD. Turns out that that's really all I'm going to need. But it turns out, because that turn was there, I still have a buy one, get one free right here. I'm going to go for another one because I am that guy. You know, I don't appreciate getting sassed by a Mega Medicham, so my Popcorn Colonel is going to come in here and come in here with double attack and just return everything on this team that it can. This is going to be an Altaria comeback, but you don't call it a comeback because it's been here since... Shit. I really wish I had that line more ready, but I'm not familiar with when original 3rd gen came out. So, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say here because it's just you're gonna see a poke come in and then Altaria's gonna rip its fucking head off is what happens. You ever seen a Slowbro die in 1 shot? This thing can do that. Boom! Look at that. I'm 3 for 3, and that's how we bring the score back. Which is why this one was short because it got to the point where I was getting swept pretty hard, and I was like, wait. Stop. That's not how that works. So all I had to do was wait for my opening on Latios and just immediately bring it home. So that's how that game actually panned out. That was a straight comeback right there, which got scary for a bit there, but we hit the brakes, turned it around, and that's how that card drives, kids. If you guys enjoyed the games, you can leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. I know they weren't like fantastic, like super thought out games or whatever. The entire tournament was Monotype, so it's gonna be more novelty than anything. I've got a few more games left in it. I think there's also 2 more I have to combine, so I might actually have 4 or 5 uploads left. But you know, I'll get to them when I get to them. Yeah, it's a thing. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then.